Hello Army, welcoming you to NekoPixel, your go-to resource for the most recent and the quickest BTS updates. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. What if the stage smile concealed pain that no one was supposed to notice? What if BTS V's disappointed face wasn't exhaustion, but a warning? Cameras caught him heading to a hospital. A live broadcast raised more questions than answers. And Jungkook suddenly appeared, without explanation. Army is worried. Something doesn't feel right. This is not a rumor. This is a developing BTS emergency. So what really happened at the concert, and is BTS V truly okay? BTS V caught on camera going to the hospital. What really happened behind the accident at a concert that panicked the Army? What if everything Army thought they saw on stage was only the surface of a much darker story? What if the disappointed face captured by the cameras was not acting? Not exhaustion, but a silent signal for help? And what if Jungkook's sudden appearance was not a coincidence, but an emergency response no one was supposed to notice? Tonight, the spotlight is no longer just on the stage. It has shifted to a hospital corridor, a tense concert hall, and a live broadcast where BTS V finally spoke, carefully, emotionally, and not without fear. This is not merely a rumor. This is not just another fancam moment. This is a developing situation that has left Army worldwide asking one terrifying question: is BTS V really okay? The truth is that BTS V did not look good. Not on stage, not off stage, and certainly not after the cameras caught something that was never meant to be seen. The footage appeared quietly at first. A short clip, a blurry angle, a familiar silhouette entering a building late at night. But within hours, Army began connecting the dots. The jacket, the posture, the security presence, and then, the most alarming aspect of all, the obvious hospital entrance. Why was BTS V there? Why now? And why did this happen so soon after the concert incident that fans are still unable to comprehend? At the concert, everything looked normal at first glance. The lights were bright, the crowd was loud, the performance went on. But cameras don't lie, and neither do faces trained to hide pain for years. BTS V was seen watching the concert, with a visibly disappointed expression, distant eyes, and a silence that felt heavier than words. This was not the V fans are used to seeing. This was not the V who smiles through chaos. Army noticed it immediately. Social media exploded with questions. Why wasn't he interacting as usual? Why did his eyes look unfocused? Why did he keep touching his body as if something was wrong? And why did the joy seem to drain from his face as the concert went on? Then came the whispers. An incident during the concert. An unexpected disturbance. A potential stalker within the crowd. Multiple fans claimed they noticed unusual movements near the stage area. Security appeared to be more focused than usual. BTS V's body language changed mid-event. His focus shifted. His smile wore off. And then, suddenly, the energy changed completely. Was someone following him? Was there a security breach? Was this the turning point at which everything went wrong? What Army didn't expect was what came next. Just hours later, BTS V was reportedly caught on camera heading to the hospital. No announcement, no statement, no explanation, only silence. And silence, for Army, is often the loudest warning. The situation escalated when BTS V went live. This was not a planned broadcast. This was not promotional. This was not cheerful. Fans immediately sensed it. His tone was softer. His words were cautious. And while he did not directly say, "I am sick," everything about his expression suggested something deeper. He mentioned being overwhelmed, about moments that are hard to explain, about what takes place behind the scenes that fans are not privy to. He paused often. He chose his words slowly. And when he smiled, it didn't reach his eyes. Why would someone who just finished a concert look like they were carrying something heavy? Why would he avoid direct answers? When Army asked if he was okay, why did he thank fans repeatedly, as if reassurance was something he desperately needed? Then came the detail that shocked everyone. Jungkook was there, unexpectedly, unannounced. Why did Jungkook suddenly follow BTS V to the concert location? Why did he appear so quickly, so urgently? Army knows this pattern. When Jungkook shows up, without warning, it's rarely casual. Fans began recalling past moments when Jungkook appeared during difficult times, moments of injury, emotional breakdowns, or serious concerns. His presence has always meant one thing: something is not right. And this time was no different. Jungkook was seen staying close, watching, carefully, not playful, not relaxed, focused, protective, was what he said in response to something that BTS V didn't want the public to know. Was this about health? Was it about safety? Or was it about the stalker incident that fans are now demanding answers for? Reports began surfacing of a possible follower at the concert. Someone repeatedly appearing in restricted areas, Someone security had to monitor closely. Someone whose presence may have triggered BTS V's visible discomfort. If true, this raises serious questions. How did this person get so close? Why wasn't the situation addressed publicly? And could this be connected to BTS V's sudden hospital visit? ARMY is not panicking without reason. BTS V has always been successful. However, strength does not mean invincible. Pressure, physical strain, emotional responsibility, and years of constant exposure take their toll. And this time, the cracks may have been visible not through words but rather in expressions no idol training can fully hide. The phrase being spread throughout fan communities now is chilling: BTS V is not okay. And what makes this situation even more alarming is the lack of clear communication. No official health update, no explanation about the hospital visit, no denial or confirmation of the stalker incident. Only fragmented clues, only questions, only ARMY trying to piece together a story from what they saw, what they felt, and what BTS V couldn't say out loud. This is why fans are calling it a BTS emergency. Not because of rumors, however, because something seems off. Because when an idol smiles through pain, ARMY can still tell. Because when Jungkook moves without explanation, it means concern. Because when a live broadcast feels like a quiet cry for understanding, fans listen. So what really happened that night? Was BTS V injured during the concert? Was the hospital visit related to physical health or emotional shock? Was the presence of a stalker the trigger that pushed everything over the edge? And most importantly, why does BTS V look like someone who is trying very hard not to worry the people who love him the most? Until answers come, ARMY will continue watching, analyzing every frame, replaying every word, waiting, because there is more to this than just a concert. This is about the well-being of someone who has given everything to the stage and may finally be asking, silently, for space to heal. And the question remains unanswered and echoing across the fandom. What is really happening to BTS V, and why does it feel like we are only seeing the beginning of this story? The timeline no one was supposed to reconstruct. Before BTS V was seen heading to the hospital, what really happened? If the hospital footage was the shock, then the real story began hours before the cameras ever caught BTS V walking through those doors. Because nothing about that night was accidental. Furthermore, nothing about BTS V's conduct can be explained by fatigue on its own. Multiple fan accounts and concert footage examined frame by frame claim that the shift happened quietly. There was no dramatic interruption, no public announcement, just a moment, brief, subtle, but unmistakable, when BTS V's expression changed. His shoulders tensed, his gaze drifted away from the stage, and the warmth ARMY knows so well seemed to vanish. Why would someone in the middle of a concert suddenly look like they were somewhere else entirely? This is where the timeline becomes critical. Just before the moment fans began noticing BTS V's disappointed expression, security activity reportedly increased near the venue. Guards repositioned, the staff's communication increased, and BTS V was seen briefly turning his head toward an area that was not part of the performance. Was it noise? Was it confusion? Or was it someone who should not have been there? Fans who were present began sharing similar observations. A figure repeatedly appearing near restricted zones. Someone whose actions appeared to be planned. Someone who didn't behave like an ordinary fan. And then, something else happened. BTS V stopped participating. He remained there. He didn't speak. He stayed, but emotionally, he was gone. For an idol known for connecting deeply with the atmosphere of a concert, this was alarming. BTS V has always been expressive. Even when tired, even when overwhelmed. But this time, the disappointment on his face wasn't momentary. It lingered. It hardened. What was he processing in that moment? This is where Jungkook's sudden appearance becomes impossible to ignore. Jungkook was not scheduled. Jungkook was not expected. Yet, there he was, close, focused, and alert. ARMY noticed immediately that Jungkook's demeanor was different. This was not playful Jungkook. This was not relaxed Jungkook. This was someone watching carefully, someone staying near without drawing attention, someone whose priority was clearly not the audience. Why would Jungkook rush to be there if was everything in order? Fans began to remember